What's up, guys? I'm headed back to the mountains again. Right now I'm driving through a small town here in Montana called Absaroka. You can see it's very, very Americana, so it's very cool. And anyways, right now the view is kind of obstructed down there. Let me just zoom in for you there. You can see I'm headed back to the mountains again. But this time I'm not going to the Beartooth Highway. I'm going to a lake. There's a lake in the middle of the mountains called Mystic Lake. I saw it on Google Earth. And I was like, this place seems pretty cool. So I'm going to head there today. Yeah, so I'll take y'all with me. As somebody who spent most of his life in the Midwest, these roads are really amazing, and this landscape is, really awesome. But anyways, the reason I have time to, explore right now is because my residency has 3+3 blocks. So it has like 3 weeks of wards, and then I was on 3 weeks of clinic, and now I'm on 3 weeks of cardiology. So I started on the hardest week, the hardest block of residency, which is wards. And it's also the most frequent block. Like, I'm going to be back on wards soon. And so lucky for me, that's made all the other blocks seem a lot easier in comparison. Clinic was also kind of challenging, just because, all of these patients are my patients now, and I have to do the brief charting and, really make sure I do the best for them. And then, the schedule is like 7:30 to 5, which is a lot better than wards, but that, it was still demanding. But cardiology is not that bad, because we don't have a cardiology fellowship here, which means that really the hospital doesn't rely on like secondary learners. I mean, like, residencies or fellows to like actually run things. So a lot of it was has been like shadowing and maybe following a few patients here and there, kind of like medical school. So it really hasn't been that bad. And I enjoy cardiology, whether it be heart failure or post MI stuff, or coronary artery disease. It's a very fascinating field. But with that being said, I don't think I would ever be a cardiologist, just because it's at least 3 years after residency, and they work a lot, And so if I'm gonna, do that extra training time, I really want to do a job where I don't have to work as much. And then they do make more money, but at the end of the day, is it worth the 3 year sacrifice? I don't know. But anyways, so that's kind of where I'm at in residency right now. And just check out this landscape. So before, today is Sunday, August, August something. But before going back to work tomorrow, I just wanted to get some nature in. And this is actually really common in Montana, I guess, for people to just do this whenever they're free, because there's not much. I mean, like, what else are you gonna do, right? So, like for me, I did a bunch of Anki cards and UWorld questions yesterday for step 3. Got a 33% on a neuro block. But today I was like, I'm not gonna go through that depression. So I decided to come do some nature stuff. And just very interestingly, I was at a gas station. I'm like 50 miles outside of my city now at this point. And at the gas station, I actually saw another resident. So I guess they were kind of thinking the same thing, to come down here and see Mystic Lake. So that's the cool thing about Montana. We got places like Mystic Lake or Beartooth, which a lot of people haven't heard about. we also got like Yellowstone and Glacier. So I ranked this place really low when I first matched here. I mean, you know, when I applied here, but in retrospect, I would have ranked this place a lot higher. I mean, I'm really glad I ended up here. Look at that creek. It's really beautiful. But yeah, let's keep driving, see what's next. Well, it started raining, so to get from the place where I'm gonna park to the lake, it's actually a 3-mile hike. So hopefully it's not raining when I get there. But yeah, if anything, this drive has been worth it just by itself. Just take a look at this. I mean, it's basically like I'm living in a postcard right now. Well, the good thing is that the rain stopped. The bad thing is that I'm probably lost. The GPS, Google Maps, took me to this unpaved road, and whereas I thought I was 30 minutes away, now I'm like an hour and a half away. So this is awesome, and I don't think my Toyota Venza is the best car for this this type of road. But yeah, let's see where this this takes us. This road is really beautiful, and I've definitely got some adventure in, but I think I've definitely taken a wrong turn because there's nobody around here. And Google Maps, I don't know how much I can trust it, but it says for some reason I'm like an hour away, and I don't know, none of the roads, like you can't actually see any of the roads on Google Maps. It just says, oh, you should take a right turn here or whatever. So I don't know, hopefully I make it. All right, I just saw some people like fishing on the river back there, and I asked them and they were like, oh, you should follow this road, I don't know, take a left on Rosebud or Ingersoll or something, and you're like 15 minutes away. So I don't know, man. Google Maps says I'm an hour away. I got no idea. So let's keep going, I guess. At least I saw some people. At least I know I'm not literally in the middle of nowhere. So, all right, let's keep going. I just had to stop my car and take a look at this awesome flow in this river over here. I think I'm back on the right path. I'm 17 miles away, but it says I'm like 45 minutes away just because these roads are all granite or gravel. So I guess that's just something to keep in mind when you're in Montana. Things take longer than they should. All right, let's head over there. Okay, I'm finally starting to feel like less anxious about this place because I'm on the right path. I just ran into another guy. He said it's 12 miles away, even though Google Maps is saying 40 minutes. I think it's just because of the road being so slow. Yeah, it turns out this lake is actually inside of a national forest. So yeah, hopefully I don't get, bitten too much by insects or mauled by a bear. But yeah, it should be pretty cool. I don't know if you guys just saw the horses there that I passed by, but that's one of my goals while I'm in Montana, is to figure out how to ride a horse. There's some ranches that offer lessons, but the ones that I reached out to said they were pretty booked, so hopefully I can find a place to ride a horse before I'm done with the residency. I've always wanted to ride a horse since I was a kid, just because it's a very important thing in my culture. For Turkmens, my grandfather had a horse, and just for Turkic people in general, my ancestors 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, they used to live in mountains called the Altai Mountains, out in all the way in like Mongolia, and then over the years the Turkic people descended down into Central Asia, and then down into Turkey, and my ancestors founded the Seljuk Empire, the Ottoman Empire. So yeah, I've always wanted to learn how to ride a horse, just because I don't know, it makes me feel in touch with my ancestors, I suppose. But yeah. They seriously need to pave this road, because the lake, it's really not that far. It's like, the trail to the lake is like 10 miles maybe, but I don't know exactly, because my service, there's no cell phone service out here, so my data stopped working, so Google Maps wasn't working anymore. But it's not that far based on like the last estimate I saw, but I have to go like 20, 30 miles an hour just because the road isn't paved. I feel like this is a well-known enough attraction that it really wouldn't be a waste of money to pave this road. So yeah, I don't know, I just had to complain about that, but the views are getting better. I just had kind of a funny thought. When I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of horror movies. I still do. I really like horror. Like, even at night, sometimes I'll stay awake, like scrolling through Reddit, reading like paranormal subreddits. But anyways, I used to watch stuff like Friday the 13th, like Jason Voorhees films, where these, people would go out to the middle of nowhere, some lake somewhere, and then they would get killed by some serial killer with a hockey mask. And I was always like, my reaction to these films has pretty much always been like, wow, like, these guys are dumbasses. Like, what the fuck are they doing in the middle of nowhere? But I guess I'm the idiot now, because I don't have anybody with me. There's no wrong data here, so my cell phone doesn't work. And I just saw a sign that this is bear country, so this is cool, you know. I tried to buy some bear spray on my way here. I stopped at a Walmart, but they didn't have it, so I don't have bear spray with me either. They had pepper spray for $10, which I wish I would have bought instead of being a cheapskate. It's just that, I don't know, I heard that pepper spray doesn't work anyways, so yeah. I think because this was kind of like a last minute decision. Like last night I was like, I'm bored, I'm gonna go to this place tomorrow. But anyways, I read some stuff about bears last night, and to be honest, you know, I was like scared to the point where I was like, maybe I just shouldn't go. But statistically, there's like one death by bear attack every year, so I don't think it's that scary. And I think bears are, based on what I've read, bears are as scared of humans as we might be of them. So something you can do to kind of scare them off is just make sure you make a lot of noise. That way they know that there's humans in the area and they stay away from you. So yeah, I'll be talking a lot during my hike into the lake area once I get there. But holy shit, man. I mean, I do kind of regret coming here because my car, the Toyota Venza, is not equipped for these roads. And like, I'm only going like 17 miles an hour right now. So it's just taking so much longer than I thought it would. But yeah, hopefully I'll make it soon. Well, I made it to the trailhead. Now it's a 3-mile walk. And I asked some people there and they said it's about 1,400 feet vertical. So I think I'm gonna be climbing. I'm gonna be going up pretty high. Some people were there with their kids and they said they didn't see any bears today, so that's good. I will try to kind of talk every now and then just to make sure, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna try and be fast because it's already 4:45 and I gotta drive back and all that too. And so let's get started. I think this lake actually supplies power to this company. They built a dam on the lake, and you can see the powerhouse over there. And if we come down here, there's a little map how long I got to go. So let's see, where did I park? So I parked like right here, and that's where I am now. So I gotta go all the way like this, and I got a ways to go until I make it there. So without further ado, let's keep rolling. Well, I've been walking for about 15 minutes now, so I guess that means I have about 45 minutes left. But this stream is really cool. I don't know if any of you guys have been to like Disney World, like Walt Disney World, or even like in the Mall of America in Minneapolis. There's Paul Bunyan's log chute. This is basically like that, except in real life. Like, I think it would be pretty fun to like go like rafting or something on like somewhere over there. So just gonna sit down here for a bit before continuing the trail. I just sat in a puddle of water, so that's good. I wish I had ate something before I came, because I haven't eaten since like noon, and now it's 5. But that's fine. But this water is really clear. Said there is some algae. I won't taste it, but wow. Looks like there's a bunch of little baby fish in this pond here. It's just a tiny little pond on a rock, so it's kind of cool. One of the hikers I ran into told me that there's a bridge, a cool bridge about half of the way there, so don't know if he was talking about this bridge, but it is a cool bridge. What a view. I was actually thinking about maybe swimming in Mystic Lake if I had time, but it's getting late and I don't want the sun to set, you know, when I'm walking back. So I don't know if I will, but the weather is not that bad, so yeah. So you know, as I walk away from the water, I want to make sure I talk as much as I can and make some noise, you know, just to make sure, you know, that any bears in the vicinity know that there's a human being, so they should stay away. But I haven't always been an outdoors person. In fact, I never have been. You know, back in high school, you know, I was always kind of the guy who studies a lot. I wasn't in any extracurriculars, and I took road trips and did a lot of stuff with my parents, but I never like went hiking or hunting. I don't much care for hunting, to be honest, anyways, but yeah, so I also didn't have my own car, you know, until I was like 18, 19. Not that I was dying to have a car, but point is, like, until like I was 19 years old, you know, I never really explored, you know, away from my parents, and I never went off on any like adventures. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons why, since that time, since I've kind of driven a car by myself, you know, without sharing the car with anybody else, I've taken the opportunities I've had to explore places like this. So there's some hikers coming up, so I'm gonna stop talking because I don't want them to think I'm weird. But yeah, you know, as I was saying, you know, I wasn't a very active, you know, kid or teenager. Most of my summer vacations I just spent playing video games with my brother. I don't regret that. Those are good times, but a few things made me want to be more active. One of them was just this desire to explore, you know, to break away from, you know, the mode that I was in, which was studying all the time, trying to be a doctor. The other thing was my health, though, to be honest. In my junior year of college, actually it was my senior year, I started doing Taekwondo. I had done Taekwondo as a kid, but then I stopped doing it for a long time. And I restarted as a senior in college. And anyways, I was pretty out of shape at the time, so I was trying to set up a kick on one of my sparring matches, and I had actually rolled my ankle. You know, I heard a big snap. So I went to the ED on that day, the ER, and they said it's not broken. But they did take labs from me, and they took my blood pressure and all that, and my blood pressure was high, and my LDL labs were messed up. And it was also at that point where I was like, I'm 22 years old. You know, I need to choose how to live my life. You know, I can't, you know, if I'm just gonna sit around all day, that doesn't cut it. So, you know, ever since then, I've been trying to be more active. And, you know, to be clear, that's not to say check this out. Beartooth Wilderness. Let's keep going. I was just saying, you know, I don't like running that much. Or, you know, a lot of people talk about how exercise is fun and like all that, but I don't like exercise. I mean, I pretty much every other day, you know, I drag my ass to the gym and I force myself to run a mile on the treadmill. But the reason I do that is because, you know, I need to stay healthy. You know, I don't want my dyspnea on exertion, you know, my shortness of breath to be any worse than it already is. And so I power through it. You know, I tell myself this sucks, but you need to stop being a lazy fucking piece of shit and you need to do it. And that's really been, in some ways, part of my philosophy on life, you know, since pre-med. Because, you know, I don't like studying either, but what do I do most of the day? Especially as a pre-med and med student, study, you know. Why? Because, you know, I need to become a doctor, not because it's fun. You know, I never tried any of that bullshit, like Pomodoro technique, or, I don't know, having like morning routines that are like set up like a robot, or any of that fucking garbage. I just told myself whenever I was lazy, whenever I was procrastinating, which is still a problem for me, because most normal people do not want to study for hours on end, I would just say, listen, you fucking piece of shit, you need to study. If you want to be a doctor, you need to study. If you don't want to be held back in medical school, if you don't want to be kicked out of medical school, you need to study. So maybe some people will get something out of that, because I feel like there's a lot of garbage advice on the internet and in real life about people who are like, oh, you know, if you just go to the gym a few times, then you'll get used to it, you know. You'll start enjoying running on the fucking treadmill and staring at yourself in the mirror. Or you'll start, if you just, you know, get started studying, you'll find that it's fun. Or if you do like, you know, such and such methods, then studying will be fun, you know. That's not how it is, you know. It's no pain, no gain, you know. You gotta work hard for everything in life. So yeah. That's just kind of how I approach things. But yeah, what a nice walk. So, you know, when I talk about no pain, no gain, there's different types of pain, not just physical pain, not just exertion like I'm in right now, but also emotional, you know, pain, you know, like being embarrassed about things, or I don't know, just any type of fear. You know, if you want to level up in life, you got to get past it. I watch a lot of random YouTube videos in my free time or when I'm procrastinating. And a few years ago, I was really into prison YouTube videos, like dudes who came out of prison and were trying to set up new lives for themselves. And well, and somebody I started watching was this guy named Wes Watson. Now, I don't recommend this guy's videos or 90% of his advice, because there's a reason this dude went to jail, and he just seems like an insecure kind of guy, you know. But something this guy said, which I do agree with 100%, is that when he was in jail, he never took any drugs. because a lot of people take drugs in jail because they want to sleep the time off. But here's the thing. You go to jail, bad things happen in your life for a reason. And then you can either take a drug for it. You can say, oh, I'm depressed, or I'm lonely, or you're in jail now, and you can say I'm kind of screwed for years on end. And then you can go take drugs, or you can eat yourself to death, or you can go drink poison, alcohol. Or what this former prisoner said in his YouTube video was, you can level up, you can get through it. You can embrace the pain, figure out ways to cope with it, figure out what you have to do not to maybe be in pain anymore, and then come out the other end as a more motivated individual. And that's something else which I live by. It's embrace the pain, and then you'll have your reward. So, to quote the Holy Quran, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Indeed, with every hardship there is ease. Indeed, with every hardship there is ease. Alhamdulillah, praise God. Get this. This is amazing. So, yeah. I appreciate you guys for listening to my random ramblings, but part of being out here is this reflection. So yeah, let's keep walking. I think I got done with the vertical part of the ascent. So hopefully it's easier from here. One more thing I want to say, and this is the last religious thing I'll say, just in case there's like non-religious people watching this who would rather not hear this stuff. But loneliness, a lot of people, but I think especially a lot of men struggle with it these days. I mean, I definitely do. I'm 27 years old, single, still looking for my wife. God willing, inshallah, I'll find her one day. But when you feel really lonely, you can either, doom scroll on the internet, watch stupid videos and stuff like that, which, to be honest, unfortunately, I do every now and then. Or you can do what I'm doing now, which is try and level up, try and get some new experiences in your life. Or something else I heard the other day, which had a positive effect on me, is that in the Quran, and you don't have to be Muslim to agree with this, but in the Quran it says that God is closer to you than your jugular vein. God is everywhere, omnipotent. And in Islam, when you pray, you don't pray to a saint, you don't pray to anybody, any human being. You pray directly to God, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so whenever you're lonely, you do need to understand that God is there and He listens to your prayers. Now you might be thinking, then why aren't my prayers answered? Then why doesn't everything I want to happen in life not happen? Well, first of all, you need to work for it. I don't remember the Quran verse or exactly the scripture that says it, but you need to work for it, okay? And second of all, there's a saying in Turkish, which is hayırlısı olsun. Hayır. What does hayır mean? In Turkish, it means two things. It means no, and it also has the Arabic meaning, hayır, which means the best thing. And the best thing doesn't mean what you want. The best thing doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to become a millionaire. Oh, I'm going to be with, this person that I'm lusting after. Oh, I'm going to have power. Oh, I'm going to be manager or CEO. That doesn't mean the best. That's just what you want. The best thing, hayırlısı, means the best thing for you. And only God knows what the best thing for you is. And so if a prayer isn't answered sometimes, that's a good thing, because something better will happen. If not in this life, then at least in the next life, inshallah, God willing. And so that's why in Turkish, when we pray, we say, when we make dua, we say hayırlı olsun. May the best thing happen, inshallah. So anyways, hopefully that helped some people. At least it helps me. So I think I'll stop giving advice to you guys, but because, you know, who am I to give advice, honestly? You know, can't say I'm necessarily at the heights of my life yet, but let's keep climbing this mountain, and hopefully the view of that lake will be rewarding. Let's keep going. It's pretty impressive how far up I made it. Look at this. Wow. But I still got a ways to go. And I asked some hikers I just passed, I said, how much farther do I got? And they said, not that far, like 20 minutes. Well, 20 minutes is pretty far. That's 5:40. So it'll be 6 by the time I get there, and hopefully the sun won't set by the time I get back to my car. But all right, I'm gonna go a little bit faster, stop talking so much, not too worried about bears up here, and hopefully I'll see you guys at the top. Let's go. Well, people in Montana, they all have separate definitions of how long things take. Because a while ago I asked somebody, how far is Mystic Lake? Oh, about half a mile. Oh, about 20 minutes. Then I run into some hikers. You still got a mile to go. So, I'm getting tired. I wish I had come earlier, so I could spend more time at that lake when I get there, but as long as I see it, that'll be my reward. Hopefully there's like a McDonald's on the way back, because I'm tired. But wow. This is a postcard. Alhamdulillah, praise God. Wow. Something that's giving me some concern is I've seen a lot of hikers coming down. I think I'm the only one going up, so it's really getting late in the day. It's really getting late. And the roads are gonna be rough. But I made it this far. Geldik buraya kadar. As they say in Turkish, I'm gonna see that lake. I don't know if you guys remember that stream I showed you guys. It's all the way down there. So, wow. I made it so far. And it only gets higher. It only gets higher. Let's keep going. It just doesn't end. It doesn't end. My thighs are on fire. I'm really tired. Haven't eaten since noon. I'm kind of mad at myself, to be honest, for not planning this better. I really hope I make it there soon. Okay. The climb plateaued, so hopefully I'm getting there. Let's see if I can see it together. Let's go. Let's go. Hopefully it's almost there. Oh, I can see some water. Almost there. It's raining too. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Look at that. Look at that view. Wow. Wow. Mystic Lake, they say. How about that? Let's take a look. How about that? See? Whew. Now, when I was looking at this place on Google Earth, I had noticed that beach right there, and I was thinking I should go swim. But let's just see what happens, because I'm gonna follow this road down just a little bit longer. But it's already 6. I don't think it's a good idea to go all the way down there and swim, because it's gonna take me 2 hours just to walk back, and it's raining. But I'm gonna follow the road down a little bit longer, see where it goes, and we'll go from there. But wow, how about that? I hate the idea of going uphill on my way back, but it's really not that far. Look at this. The trail goes like this and down and around, and then it goes all the way over there. So it's pretty simple. I'm sure it's gonna be like half an hour, but I think I owe it to myself to at least touch the lake. And then I'll head back. And then this part will be uphill, everything else will be downhill. Let's do it. Well, I made it to the shore. It's just a little bit longer until I make it to the beach. And you know what this reminds me of is, if anybody's ever been to Istanbul, and if you haven't, I really recommend you go. There's a place next to the Bosphorus Strait on the Asian side of Istanbul called Moda Sahili, and it's full of rocks like this. And I just remember as a kid, me and my relatives, we would just sit on the rocks like this and just stare at the water. Of course, that place was a lot more full of people. This place, it's the middle of nowhere, so hopefully I get out safely, but let's not think about that right now. Let's just enjoy the view right now. All right, a little bit longer until I make it to the beach. You know what this reminds me of? There's an M. Night Shyamalan movie called Old, where a bunch of people, they go on this free vacation to a beach, and then they immediately start aging like really fast. Like within hours, they become, you know, old men, and then they die. It takes place in this beach in the middle of nowhere, just like I'm at right now. Highly recommend that film. I'm at the beach. Let's see how the water is. Is it cold? I think it's cold because I'm getting chilly over here, but whew, let's take a look. I didn't come this far not to at least touch the water, right? Oh, finally, I got to sit down. Let's take a look here. It's pretty cold. It's pretty cold. But you know what? Let's see. Man, there's a bunch of bugs here. The water is way too cold for swimming. I thought about it, but I ain't gonna do it. Maybe one day, next summer, mid-July, I'll come here and it'll be warmer. But this is too cold. So I just dipped my legs in. That's about as far as I got work tomorrow. I only get 3 days in residency, 3 sick days. I ain't getting deeper. But maybe I can at least taste the water. I mean, I made it this far, and I don't see any algae. So let's see if the water tastes any good. It's amazing. It's purified water, it really is. And look, you can't see any algae or anything. Taste the water a little bit more. I'm just kind of mad at myself for waking up so late. If I had come 2-3 hours earlier, I would have just sat here for an hour. Just gotta show you guys the view here. Let's see the other side of the lake. Although I'm getting a bit used to the cold. Maybe I can walk in. I guess this is how some people fish. Alright, I think I've had enough adventure. Oh, it's cold. It's cold and these rocks are jagged. Oh, shit. This whole state is a postcard. I mean, this is beautiful. The state of Montana is actually bigger than the whole country of Germany. Considering all the diversity we have in the landscape here. That doesn't surprise me. There's a song I heard on my way here by John Denver. You guys all probably know it. Take me home, country roads. But the way it started, I felt was eerily relatable. He was born in his 27th year, going home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him, thought he was born again. Thought he made his way through every door. But the Colorado Rocky Mountain High. It's a good song. These aren't the Rocky Mountains, but I am 27, and here I am, home in a place I've never been before, right? Doing residency in freaking Montana. But I'm glad I ended up here. It's gonna be a reflective 3 years, and the scenery is spectacular. I'm gonna stay here for a little bit longer, enjoy the view, and then trek on my way back and hopefully make it back before the sun sets. And that's where the sun is right now, so hopefully I'll make it before it sets. What time is it? 6:22. So it took me from 5:45 to 6:10 to walk here. That's 1 hour 35 minutes. So if I get up out of here at 6:30, then I'll be back by 8:05. So around right when the sun sets. So yeah, I don't want to be here at night, so I better head back soon. But man, I hope you guys enjoyed this view as much as I did, because you know, I used to play a lot of video games as a kid. I used to watch a lot of movies as a kid, and this place reminds me of a comic book called Bone. You know, and it reminds me of Legend of Zelda. Like, it's hard to believe that these views actually exist in real life, or that I'll actually get to see them one day. But I did, and I just have to say, praise God. This is amazing. Look down there. It looks like some sort of like bridge on top of a mountain, right? Looks like that place in Utah. Wow. Okay. Maybe it's an optical illusion. Maybe that's just snow. I don't know. Wow. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this place. I'm gonna go up pretty fast back now, and I won't be talking until I make it back to the forest area. That's when I'll start talking again, because you know, bears, it's good to make noise so the bears don't hear you. I'm trying to make it back fast, because it'll be 8 by the time I make it back, and then drive is gonna be 2 hours through those gravel roads at night. Then I got, patients tomorrow that I won't have time to pre-charge for. But I just want to make it back home so at least I can get some sleep. But what a nice excursion. All right. I don't know how I missed it, but check out this waterfall. But yeah, it's raining now. In fact, my screen has a bunch of water on it. It's doing weird stuff. So, okay. Look at the sky. Not looking good. Not looking good. So, I'm gonna head back. Well, I'm making some good progress on the way back. Downhill is a lot easier than uphill, but this rain is really starting to worry me. So hopefully I can make it back soon. All right, I got a dilemma here. Looks like the trail is all the way down there. So I can either try to go down these rocks and have a shortcut kind of. You can see the trail right there. Or I can walk around. But it's raining, I'm running out of time. I think I'm gonna take the shortcut. These rocks are a bit slippery, so I am taking a risk, but let's do it. Okay, that was really stupid, but I did it. Slipped and fell a few times. That's all right. I did it, so okay, let's keep walking. Hopefully I'm getting close. I'm not gonna lie, there is some like worry here because it's 7 p.m. and I haven't seen anybody behind me. I haven't seen anybody ahead of me. So yeah, I just want to get off this trail soon because it's getting late and it's raining. And yeah, let's keep going. I made it down past the rocky part, so now I'm in the forest. As I recall, this took like 45 minutes, so all right. So as I walk through the forest part now, I just want to make sure I make some noise because there's no other human beings around, and I just don't want to run into any bears. So I don't know. I've just been making some noise. Been doing some singing, some random talking to myself, but hopefully I make it through here. There is one song that comes to my head. It's by Barış Manço, Turkish folk singer. It goes like this. Dağlar dağlar, kurban olam, yol ver geçem. Sevdiğimi son bir olsun, yakından görem. Dağlar dağlar, kurban olam, yol ver geçem. Sevdiğimi son bir olsun, yakından görem. Kışlar ötmez, güller soğudu, yüce dağlar duman oldu. Belli ki gittiğin yerden kara haber var. Belli ki gittiğin yerden kara haber var. Dağlar dağlar, kurban olam, yol ver geçem. Sevdiğimin son bir olsun, yakından görem. This is a song by Barış Manço, like I said, and when I was younger, it was my dad's favorite song, and so I heard it a lot in cars and stuff. And it's about the lyrics say, oh mountains, I beseech you, give me way. Let me see my beloved one last time. And then it goes on to say, the birds stopped singing, the flowers are shrunken, faded. Yüce dağlar duman oldu. The dogs have become, smoky. Belli ki gittiğin yerden kara haber var. It's obvious that, from the Smoky Mountains and from the birds not singing and the flowers all dead, that there's some kind of bad news from the place that you came from. And then it continues, mountains, oh mountains, I beseech you, give me way. Let me see my beloved one last time. So, I don't know what the exact story of the song is, but I imagine it has something to do with somebody walking in a place like this, and trying to see his beloved one last time. So it's a song that I enjoy a lot. Barış Manço, he's in Turkic culture, there is a person called in the Turkmen language he's called a bakshi, and then in the Turkish language they call him ozan. And an ozan or a bakshi is somebody who plays a lute, like a guitar-like instrument. Like there's a dutar, or in Turkey there's a saz, and they pass on stories from Turkic history. So, for example, one of the stories that I was told as a kid was Goroglu. In Turkish, they call him Koroglu. This story is about it's about a guy who owns a bunch of horses, and one day the king, or the leader of his region, Bolu Bey, he asks him for a horse, one of his best horses, and this guy, he gives the leader of his region, Bolu, and then in Turkmenistan the story is a little bit different. The place where he lives is called Çardağlı Çandabir, but it's very similar. But anyways, in the Turkish version, he gives the leader of Bolu his horse, but the horse that he gives him is like this really small gray horse called Girat. And anyways, the sultan, or the leader, the bey, he's offended. He says, bu nedir, bu nama? What is this, man? Like, this is a tiny horse. Are you trying to offend me? Bring that guy to me. So they go and grab him, and what they do is they blind his eyes, so he never gives them that kind of horse again. And so in Turkish, the word kor means, and so in Turkmen it means blind. So Koroglu means son of the blind man. So there's this guy named Roshen Ali, and everybody calls him Koroglu. And anyways, he grows up with this chip on his shoulder, pissed off at the leader of his principality. And then he becomes like a Robin Hood-like figure, taking money from the rich, giving it back to the poor, making sure his rule of law is enforced. Becomes an amazing, fighter. And then there's a bunch of songs about him. Anyway, so there's stories like this, and that's kind of like the Bakshi or Ozan tradition. It's they make songs about these Turkic stories, and sing them, and that's kind of how stories were passed on back in the day, and that was the entertainment that people got back in the day. So yeah. So anyways, back on point. I sang that song by Barış Manço. He was like the last ozan, or another thing they say in Turkish is ashik. He was the last one of these people who conveys actual messages of valiance, or of just values through his songs. And so he has a lot of respect in Turkey and in Turkic culture as well. So yeah, that's more than you needed to know about Barış Manço. But man, hopefully I'm getting out of here soon because there's nobody here. Luckily the rain stopped. I just tripped. So yeah, let's keep walking. All right. I think I'm getting closer and closer now. I remember this bridge, and hopefully it'll be like 15 minutes from here. Wow. The water here is really beautiful. I know I said that before, but wow. All right, almost there. Almost out of here. Okay, I think I'm nearing the end here, because I passed the river and I'm still good. But if I recall, the trail ends very soon. So, all right, let's keep going. Hopefully, I'm close. It just doesn't end. It doesn't seem to end. All right. Okay, I made it to this bridge. So now I think I'm pretty close to the end. Just as the rain starts to get really bad. Look at that. Made it pretty far. I can see it. I can see the way out of here. See all those cars down there? That's where I parked too, so almost out of here. Almost. Okay, that's my car. What a journey. What a journey. If you watched all of this, thank you, I guess, and have a good one. And best of luck in whatever you're doing. All right. You can see the bear up there. Right there, it's looking at me. Well, I saw a bear. Okay, let's get out of here.